I think this hand is a keep. It's a weird one. It's a keep, but we don't use our Gemstone Caverns, I guess. No, hold on. This is no. It is a keep because I could just Legend Drill my Gemstone Caverns and go crazy with mana. Crazy with mana. Just need to draw a payoff. Yeah. Weird to have two Gemstone Caverns on the draw and not use either. But is there any separate card we could run to deal with Alpine Moons? You could just ignore Alpine Moon. You know what I mean? It's just like you have Boseiju, but Alpine Moon is not bad against you. But it is also like very beatable. Just not every game. Emry allows low resource turn 3 kill with Coretapper. Again, it's just like, this is modern, dude. People are going to kill your Emry. Like, what's good about Coretapper is you just sack it in response to the trigger. Emry is just, like, not a card that survives games of modern. There are some decks that can play Emry, and this is just, like, not one of them. In my opinion. Okay, so we have tons and tons of mana for next turn. We need to draw a Karn, a Mystic Forge, a Scepter. Scepter might do it. Yeah, Scepter will do it because we have the untapped Coretapper. Ancient Stirrings into one of those cards, and maybe Boseiju, channeling Boseiju buys me like one turn. How good is turn 1 Stirrings? Could we run 4 of each of those as a green source is no forest? I think that you need at least one land to get off Boseiju. Like the first forest to get off Boseiju and those kind of effects is definitely worth it in my opinion. But yeah, I don't think that cutting all of them is outrageous either. So Coretapper playing around Needle. It's game 1. Like sometimes they have Needle, but it's uncommon enough that I'm not really that worried about it. Okay, just have to figure out like what line here is going to put me in the best position to win. And I kind of feel like it's just block, Coretapper, untap Coretapper, Coretapper, untap Coretapper, channel Boseiju, sack Coretapper, says 6 counters. 4-3 split and 4-4-2. Yeah, maybe 4-3 split. I think that could be good. Did we have the mana cast Power Conduit? No, I thought we just had one floating, right? One floating, which could untap Cornucopia, cast the Conduit. No, we used our floating mana to cast the key, so we could cast key with Cornucopia and play as mana neutral. So, I believe either anyway we cut the onion there, we don't get the job done. Okay, so they're not presenting lethal. So I think I'm just gonna Boseiju a construct, and if they blacksmith skill, I have to block. But if they don't blacksmith skill, I want to keep the Coretapper in play because keeping Coretapper in play lets me draw a Scepter and combo win. Oh, although, sorry, I should use the floating mana to untap. So I have one less charge counter on the Cornucopia, which shouldn't really be relevant here. So I should have untapped. Yeah, but I mean, I think no matter what happens, if we draw a payoff this turn, we win. If we don't, we don't. You know, we have plenty of mana. Payoff, 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 payoff. Okay, this is definitely the most exciting draw. Definitely the most exciting draw. Oh no, I didn't mean to click yes. Damn it. I obviously shouldn't have clicked yes. Still have 1 mana floating. Okay, okay. Should be a win. Despite my best efforts, or worst efforts. Whatever you want to say. But what's the best way to do this? Probably just Karn for Scepter, right? Karn for Scepter. I have 11 mana. Karn for Scepter is 7. 4 floating. We can play the Surge Node. I guess I'll cast this Power Conduit as the last charge counter, so I just get a little bit deeper in the deck. Somebody tuned in, I'm confused with the goal. We're taking infinite turns, baby. We're a combo deck. And we'll win eventually with Ballista, but actually we might just win right now with Ballista. Well, yeah, we'll probably just win right now, right? We can go 2 counters with Power Conduit, 9 mana. So each key taps for 8, this taps for 9. 16, 32, plus 9, 40 mana. Yeah, we're just going with Ballista right now. Although that's more mana. Mana positive. So I like to do this, because if I miscount it. I don't have to think about anything. I don't know the current record. We played a lot of the deck. It's not like super crazy good, but it's also like we just run it. We've been, you know, what I like about this deck is like the vast majority of our losses are to efficient hate cards. And like that is like if that's like where you're at the deck, that is I think about as good as you can really hope for. Is you're beating almost everything besides efficient hate cards. And we're trying more. We're trying a few other options. We're trying more Welding Jars. I think that the Mirrodin's Core make us more resilient to like some disenchant effects and stuff. But I know so for some decks I'll keep record early, and some decks I won't. And with the Rakdos Sacrifice deck, it's been really easy to keep track because it's like exactly 80% after 7 leagues. But I don't usually keep track for decks. Okay, I think I'm just gonna keep this sideboard plan. I think you have to keep this. Might not be a turn 1 Urza Saga hand, might be too, I don't know. Usually play Saga turn 1. Yeah, play Saga turn 1. Usually play a Surge Node over Key also. I did not think you'd win the game. Okay, notably this not being a green source is kind of like immediately punishing, although we might just be dead to double hammer. No hammers. Pure still Paladin, okay. Probably still no hammers in hand though. Okay, I think I'm just gonna Stirrings here. Okay, Power Conduit is unfortunately not castable right now. I still think it's the card we grab. Fnatic, 15 months, thank you. Forgets your Wish Call Talismans, and the same with keys. I mean, it's just like a different color, and it's very slow, but it is a card we've talked about. I think you could play it. Okay. So I may be trying to chump block with the Construct for turn. Fnatic again with the 15, thank you. They clearly just drew this hammer. Ooh. Okay, so hold on. I can go, can I get a bridge in play is what I'm thinking. I can grab a Voltaic, I can float a mana Voltaic Key, use my 3 floating mana to play Power Conduit, activate Surge Node, Everflowing Chalice, and then so this key will be +2 mana, this key will be +1 mana, so 3 + 2 + 1 is 6, which is 1 short of Karn for bridge, if I've counted correctly. Oh no, but I'm getting a key off the Saga, so I have another key, so I have enough. Okay. Still dead to another hammer. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I guess I could get a Ballista. Actually, that's what I could do. Ballista loses to Shadow Spear, but it's like way more likely that they'll be able to find another hammer than another Shadow Spear. Yeah, the problem with Bridge is that I'm dead to a hammer, and the problem with Ballistas I'm dead to Shadow Spear. But they're just way more likely to have another hammer. So I think I just like I think there's like no chance it should be a Bridge instead of Ballista, just with that thought process, right? I'll chump block, kill this. I can get Bridge next turn. Ballista loses to removal. Yeah. I mean, but like. If they have, like, the removal is, like, March of Otherworldly Light, which almost definitely gets rid of Bridge, too. You know what I mean? If they just have any white card to pitch. Like, they're not gonna, like... I'm not sure, like, what removal kills Ballista that beats me here. Yeah, because I can ping twice. And now I can get Bridge with no counters. I think we're in a sequence that beats Hammer plus Blacksmith skill. Yeah, but maybe Bridge is dead to Hammer no matter what, you know. This line just beats a Hammer. This line also lost it to a few other cards. Okay, so here's a really interesting spot. Oh, it's actually not that interesting. We just Magistrate Scepter. Right? Especially with double Mirrodin's Core. It's just gotta be Scepter here, right? Should easy be Scepter. Okay, Mirrodin's Core looking good, although I guess would have been about the same as Ice Bridge. I mean, it's better because I just have this like recurring flow of counters now, and it's better in this game. Put charge counter. Put charge counter. Infinite turns. If you have Bridge out and they draw Ornithopter, you can put a +1 counter out with Ornithopter so it can attack. That is an awesome bit of advice. Like, the only reason Liliana couldn't have been reprinted earlier, like, they wanted to reprint Liliana at one point. Hold on, I'm trying to... I think I'll put back the... Let's just try the core. I have a luck counter off the Caverns, too, if I need it. They wanted to reprint Liliana in Standard, but, like, Mono Black Devotion was a deck, and so they just couldn't, because she was going to be too good there. Spreads, 8 months, thank you. Oh, we're up against Omnath, which is... usually our best matchup by a lot. Looking for Coretapper, Surge Node. We don't find any of those. I guess we take a Karn. We do need a payoff here. Might just be casting Cornucopia next turn. But this matchup's really good. Yeah, I think we're like 3-0 against it. Even if they have like multiple pieces of interaction, it just like oftentimes doesn't matter because their clock is so slow and you have time to rebuild. Sometimes you can lose though. Live stream says they were standing to say anything about Pioneer. I think that's probably true, but it's also like, again, Pioneer is a ooh. Okay, when they marching the Saga is pretty bad for us. Although Surge Node is really good for us. Mono Black Devotion was in Theros. They was 2 blocks after OG Innistrad. There's been plenty of time since then. Yeah, sure. But at the very least, like, that was I'm saying, like, that was the only time it would have been, like, super dangerous to reprint Liliana. The card was, like, a totally... I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. And again, like, I think Liliana is, like, objectively bad against Mono Green and Izzet Phoenix. And... a card that is objectively bad against Mono Green and Izzet Phoenix in this current Pioneer just doesn't seem that dangerous to me. This is a Treasure Cruise format. It's an Arc-like Phoenix format. It's an Old Growth Troll format. you know, it's just like, I'm just not that worried about it. Weasel, 17 months. Thank you. I think it's great versus green. We could agree to disagree. That's one thing we can forget on this channel. We always have the option to disagree. Spice again for the 17 months. Appreciate you. Is Leon the Planeswalker that's ultimate the most of all Planeswalkers? It's easily Gideon Ally of Zendikar for Planeswalker that is ultimated the most. Yeah, the taskbar is bugged on Windows 10. Like, you just toggle the setting and it doesn't care. Like, you can toggle it and get rid of it, it just comes back. Alright, argues. I don't think that Teferi has an ultimate. If you count the -3 as an ultimate, then sure. I don't think it. I would categorize Teferi as not having an ultimate. Okay, so we got a lot of mana this turn. Almost definitely just going to try to put a Mystic Forge into play, I think. Assuming I have enough mana. This is +2. 6. 8, yeah. Do you consider 4-color Amulet to be a good matchup for 8 key? It's like, it's easily your best matchup of like popular tier 1 decks. I haven't lost to it. I'm like 3-0 against it or something, but spell-based combo decks like this deck is just exactly what you exactly, you know, what you want to use to combat Omnath. Combo decks are really good against Omnath because their clock is really slow. They have a lot of like 1-for-1 interaction that can be played through a lot of the time, and their premium interaction is like hard for them to find because they're an 80 card deck. Probably don't mind drawing the Scepter next turn. Remember, chat, 4-color Omnath is only good against your pet deck. Also for OG Theros stuff, block the most ults. I mean, Gideon Ally of Zendikar, like, you would come down and you'd -4 immediately really often. But you could also probably argue that, like, the -4 is not really an ultimate. Like, you could categorize ultimate as, like, not being able to be activated the turn. You play it, you have to take up for it. And if that's the case, then Elspeth Sun's Champion's a good choice. Yeah, I guess we'd have to define Planeswalker Ultimate. Does Oko have an ultimate? The -5? Yeah, I think the -5 definitely, like, ooh, Exile my Cornucopia. I would say the -5 definitely. Also, them playing multiple marches is bad for me. Thoughts on this deck I'm going to try out? I think it's very powerful, very consistent, very fast. But if you are afraid of like losing to efficient artifact hate, this is probably not the deck for you. I think I'm still going to draw this. Cast a key, I guess. Yeah, I think let's do some more digging with the Mystic Forge. Mostly just looking for a Chalice of the Void effect, or Everflowing Chalice Cornucopia. Yeah, I mean, if you were afraid of losing to super efficient artifact hate, not the deck for you. This is a deck for fearless Magic players. Okay, 2-turn clock at this point. I know my top card. They're bouncing the Forge. We'll go to game 2. Them having multiple marches is pretty bad for us because they can get rid of Saga more easily. So I will oftentimes bring in Welding Jar. Seeing the multiple marches, I'm a bit more worried. I think I'll play 1 Welding Jar over 1 Caverns on the play. If you love Karn but also feel Karn is this deck for you, yeah, I think you're just gonna have to have not that much fear. You will beat hate cards some amount of the time, but you are a linear artifact-based combo deck in Modern in a format where Hammer Time is a tier 1 deck. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. If Hammer Time is ever not tier 1 and people are playing less artifact hate, this deck is gonna be way, way better. But right now, people are packing their hate. Mystic Forge does not let you play lands off the top. Oh, was one Mystic Forge Force, or I put the Emrakul from the side into the deck. It sounds fun. I don't know. I'm not mad about that. There are worse crimes. I think I'm playing Key here. How's the deck performing? We played a lot of this. I'm not sure about the overall score. But it's been pretty good. This is like our third or fourth stream with the deck. Yeah, I think this deck is very comparable to Dredge. It's like you have some answers for hate. Sometimes you play through it, but you know, if Graveyard Hate's really popular, you're not going to want to play Dredge. If Artifact Hate is really popular, this is not a best choice for a tournament. This is definitely one of those cards. This is definitely one of those cards. Yeah, Mox Opal would be nuts in this deck. I mean, it'd be just like too good, of course, but. Yeah, we've talked a lot. We've talked Tezzeret's Gambit to death. We have talked about Tezzeret's Gambit ad nauseum, and it's hard for me to engage super like critically with these suggestions that are Spike. What about this Dirtily card advantage card? I really like this Dirtily card advantage card, but I think that playing Tezzeret's Gambit like lowers your average kill turn by like a full turn most of the time. Costs you 2 life, makes you worse against aggro decks. You're cutting Ancient Stirrings. If you're going to play it, you have to cut Ancient Stirrings because the list is really tight. Ancient Stirrings is nuts. I would never want to cut Ancient Stirrings. And it's just like... I say this constantly, all stream, but the density of suggestions that are just like, raise the mana curve for a dopey card draw spell is like, you know... The density of these suggestions is always like so high that it's hard for me to like engage with them very much. Sounds nuts. So I guess I want to play Saga turn 1. I'm gonna play Saga turn 1, yeah. Do you have a sense which card in the 75 is doing the least? Well, we just cut them. I was playing one Rings of Brighthearth because you can infinite combo with it, but it was like always worse than Paradox Engine, or almost always worse. So we added more Welding Jars for those. But like I think the main deck is just like very tight, and I don't really recommend many changes. So we're up against Belcher. One really nice dynamic of this matchup is that Karn the Great Creator statically turns off Belcher, and sometimes you can just say the words. Oh, we also have Boseiju. I guess I'm just gonna go Coretapper, Cornucopia, Boseiju. Oh no, I wanted to play Power Conduit. I wanted to play Power Conduit to keep this around. Although I mean, this is just like so tempting. Have to do tutor coding. It happens. So one cool thing with this deck is that if you can use Key to untap your coding. I'm probably gonna get it this game actually. This is +1 mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm gonna get it this game. But yeah, you can use Key to untap your coding, which is pretty cool. So like we can go in this game, you know, kill a land, Rashad and port a land. This should be a game-winning line. GLHF. Yeah, I mean maybe the Boseiju line. No, the Boseiju line was maybe actually better, right? Because now like we just didn't lose to the turn 2 Belcher kill, which is definitely in their range. I bring in the Welding Jars for their Force of Vigors, which they think they sometimes play. Maybe they don't always have it, though. They have some amount of Artifact Destruction, I think. I do usually like to cut Expedition Map against combo decks. Then I think I'll cut the Blast Zone and then 1 Key also. Although, I guess Expedition Map we have Boseiju. It's just so slow, though. So slow to map for Boseiju in this matchup. But maybe it's good enough. How do I feel about Core versus Ice Bridge? It's been, I think, like worse once, better once. It's close. It's close. I think it actually may be fine though to play like 4 Ice Bridge, 3 core, and just play like 1 forest. Someone was, we were talking about that earlier. Someone suggested that composition. I thought that sounded fine. And just like, you know, be okay with sometimes casting your Ancient Stirrings a turn later than you would be otherwise. Oh, is this a leak card? Looks like a leak card. No leak cards, please, chat. Okay, Karn is nice. I guess I could have gone. Do they have force? They do have force. Youch. The Hourglass is not a leak, but commander only. Okay. 1 mana flash. If a player beginning extra turn, that player skips the turn instead. Exile it. Return to battlefield artifacts. Return to the battlefield. Tapped all artifact, creature, enchantment, and land cards in your graveyard to put there this turn. This is a freaking... If I'm reading this correctly, this is a second sunrise on an artifact. Although they come into play tapped, which I guess is really different. Still seems pretty powerful. And like the fact that it's also like the fact that it's extra turn hate is weird, extra whatever. Yeah, that can be modern legal, so obviously not as much of a focus on it for us. Okay, totally reasonable hand. Like having the Welding Jar here, puts on the mold to 6, mold to 5. I think the extra turn hate is just flavor, yeah. But I mean, the fact that it has flash is like, this makes it the best anti-extra turn hate of all time. In fact, compare this to Karn's or Ugin's Nexus. It's 5 mana, sorcery speed, but also has the upside of taking an extra turn, which is really big. Ooh, tutorable with Saga. Yeah. It's an EDH card. Don't you mean a legacy card? Some players will look at this and say EDH card. Some players will look at this and say legacy card. Nice. I guess we get maybe summer or Pact of Negation. Yeah, tutor with Karn. Tutor with Saga, Legacy. Oh, you can tutor it with Saga, and then you can return your Urza Saga with it too. That's actually kind of like huge, right? Oh, they boarded in Fury? I guess Fury kills Karn. Okay, I think it's a little greedy to just like think that I can guarantee a land off Stirrings. What about Jar there? I should have jarred there. I definitely should have jarred up. I don't know why I didn't. For the reason, my brain, my monkey brain is just thinking, Welding Jar is an anti-Force of Vigor card. This card is here to stop Force of Vigor. It's not here to stop Fury. It's here to stop Force of Vigor. And so my opponent goes Fury, and I'm like, oh, that's not Force of Vigor. Resolved. Okay, easy mulligan. I think it's Gigantha. Could be a few different decks. I think most likely Grixis Shadow, although I think Tron is also back on Gigantha. Slow hand, I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna put back Ice Bridge, I guess. Saga is really good against Grixis Shadow game 1. Since they cut the, or most of the list cut just down. Those look like Shadow. Oh, Luris as an avatar. Good read, huh? Good read. When did you get in our deck? Astral Cornucopia. Doesn't let you have Giganta. Forbidden Core. I think. Oh, sorry, I didn't update the stream decker. I don't know if I'm going to right now, but we're trying it out. Okay, let's get Power Conduit, I guess, to go with our Saga. Does feel bad to double Ancient Stirrings and not find one of our 8 copies of Everflowing Chalice or Astral Cornucopia. Those 2 cards are so wordy, and there's like not a really good way to like one word to describe both that package of cards. Everflowing Chalice, Astral Cornucopia. You can say like charge counter Mana Rock, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I might just say Mana Rock. I'm gonna jam the Power Conduit. They could drown though. Really big that they didn't drown. Mana batteries. Okay, I like mana batteries actually a lot. Might stick to that. Could have, yeah. No, I have a supply of charge counters, so I don't need to Mirrodin's Core. Charge Rock. I like mana battery. XC boys. Wow. Love that one. Love that one. Okay, hit another Channeler. I might be like Karning for Tormod's Crypt this turn. Slow him down. Well, I guess with two Channelers. Oh, you know what I could do here is I could actually let me just lose an Urza Saga. Yeah, let's just lose an Urza Saga. And then I can either move the counter from the Saga here. I can do a lot this turn. I can go. Maybe this is a little worse actually. Yeah, maybe it's a little worse. Sorry, I think I got a little lost in the sauce. I'm gonna get the Tormod's Crypt though. I'm gonna sack this in combat, just slow them down here. We have our engine going. I just need to preserve my life total. You could have built up enough for double Saga each turn. Yeah, I mean I don't know how necessary that is. I think it was better to save the Saga. I got a little lost in the sauce, I think. But we're in really good shape here. We're gonna be taking infinite turns in no time. Yeah, make sure you pack your dice. No, alright, you should actually... Oh, they build both basics, that's weird. If you take this deck to FNM, I recommend asking your opponent for dice. Hey, you got any dice? Woo! The audacity. You got any dice, opponent? I forgot to bring any with me. It's just an ultimate power move. I think I'm getting a key this turn. Then I can go counter on Mirrodin's Core, untap Power Conduit, and then put 2 counters on the Chalice, or put 8 counter on the Chalice. I'll teach you how it goes. So you need an artifact or creature to get Delirium. They keep a card on top here. I think next turn we can probably get Expedition Map. Expedition Map for Scepter or Forge. Why? Key and not Node? With the Mirrodin's Core, we kind of have a steady stream of counters on the Chalice, and so the Key can either combo with our Scepter, can go with our Power Conduit too. One Shadow Spear is a good suggestion. I don't know. I don't think you want the Shadow Spear often enough to play it. It's obviously like reasonable, you know. But again, I just for this deck we're really deep into the testing process, and it's just like infinitely more helpful to suggest what to cut at this point in the testing process than to just like throw card names at me that I've also like I've definitely considered it. Like here, if my opponent has a removal spell, it's just not doing that much. I kind of just want to get map instead. Although I'm a little short of. I can't Scepter this turn, but I'll just go for Mystic Forge, I think. Could have Drown Up, I guess, too. If they're Drown plus Bolt, we lose. I mean, we maybe just lose to Bolt anyways. Oh, my opponent is so close to being dead. I guess that's Death Shadow for you. Oh no, so we're not dead to Bolt. I thought for whatever reason I was at one less life. Blast Zone there. We could Blast Zone. I kind of like this line. Yeah, but I'm not dead to Bolt, so I'm feeling fine, I guess. Probably not a huge difference, but for them to be at one life or two. Yeah, they need to have 2 bolts, and they showed us they're already playing Heat, so not that likely. Most people even hate Lightning Bolt and Grixis Shadow. Thanks again, Mofo, for the 5 months. We have David. Yeah. Blast Zone makes some sense for sure. I think that could have definitely been better. Especially because now we're just dead if they have 2. They just have to have 2 removal spells. Although it has to be exactly 2 drowns. Or to push, I guess. Push gets the job done too. Yeah, I guess the Blast Zone line would have ended up working out a lot better. Dress Down, I mean, it's Dress Downs could work, but this is game 1, and most Shadowlists just don't play Dress Down in the main anymore. Okay, Terminate. Okay. Maybe there was more than I thought there was. Definitely could have played that one better. So they're likely to have some number of explosives in the sideboard. I think I'll bring in like 2 Welding Jars. No, 1 Welding Jar, 1 Needle. I've had 1 life. Not there. I was at 4 life. They have 2 flying 3/3s. Yeah, I mean, sometimes 1 Kolagon's Command. Yeah, no, what was good about Blast Zone in that spot is that we just, like, we get to make an Urza Saga token every turn while removing all of their pressure if we get the Blast Zone there. I think that was the better line. That seemed like the winning line. Opponent is Humans of Magic line? Maybe. I mean, I've been on the Humans of Magic. I've talked to James. I don't know if this is James. I feel like if it was James, he might have said, "Hi, this is James." I don't know. We're on a, I'd say we're on first name basis. I really like the Humans of Magic podcast. Play all 3 so I can start getting life off Inventors Fair. I think I'm going to block and sack. I usually do in these spots. Would not have minded to have Mystic Forge on top of my library. They started to play cost. That might have been like them having another discard spell there. Be a little bit slower here. Most frustrating card in the game. I don't know. I'm just kind of chilling, getting hit by monkey. Unless they hit Karn. Coretapper. Just kind of like a mana dork, I don't know. Definitely more frustrating in some situations. But like when you play a deck like this, like you care if they hit like exactly Karn the Great Creator, and then every other hit is just like not that impactful against you. I definitely understand, like I don't know why they're playing Coretapper either. It just seems worse than just having 2 mana. Okay, Key is a lot of mana, so we'll go counter Key, untap, sack this for Mystic Forge. Pass back. In very good shape, though. Drawing Key to the City? No, because then I have to change the title of the deck. Oh wait, I lose my Scepter. Curse you, Ragavan. Oh no, now they have Magistrate, Scepter, Coretapper. If they had a not attacked the Coretapper, they could have taken an extra turn. Why Mill Forest? I mean, I have another mana. I have plenty of 1 mana spells I can still hit here. You know what I mean? Yeah. But maybe the downside of them hitting like Karn is too high. Okay, this is this is scary. I have to go off this turn, but I'm like really likely to go off. Especially with Stirrings on top. Okay, a Key is great. Key is so good. Yeah, I think we'll go for mana here. Mana seems still relevant. Love Coretapper here. No, I mean casting Magistrate Scepter when you have Coretapper in play is like you're definitely very incentivized to do so. Probably gonna cast this Karn, huh? Yeah, I think this is easy Karn for Paradox Engine. And then usually when I go for the Paradox Engine turns, like I don't usually go for I've stopped kind of untapping when I have enough mana. I just don't like untap with the keys because it's so many clicks and you just don't really need it. And it's like a little lazy, but I think it's just correct. You don't need them. We're gonna win from here without getting the extra like 30 mana, wasting everybody's time. Like the game's just like already over. Yeah. We played the mirror. No, the mirror's just got to be erased to Karn, though, right? And again, just like that's kind of I think a good example of a game against Ragavan. You're just chilling, letting them ramp with it. Obviously, can't always do that, but. I think I need this Blast Zone. Definitely looking for a win condition and a mana battery. The logic is so loose. I mean, it's not loose so much as it is just me advising you to just, chill and not worry about it. You know what I mean? In a deck like this, they're going to hit you with Ragavan. You're going to be able to beat Ragavan a lot of the time. Ragavan is like certainly annoying, but your strategy against it does need to be allow them to have it most of the time and just play your game. Just like Tron does, you know what I mean? Because you don't have another choice, but that's okay. You just don't need to always have an answer to everything. Yeah, this is our turn 1. Okay, yeah, I think it's correct for them to take the Stirrings. Shocking in Steam Vents. Could drown my Key, I guess. Which I certainly would not mind if they did, now that I drew this. Could be a turn 2 Mystic Forge if they don't have anything. Oh, they can't drown the Forge, sorry. Obviously they can't drown the Forge. So we'll jam if they don't counter this. Okay. Feels good to be still like in like such solid shape against turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Thoughtseize, turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Thoughtseize, drown in the log. Could play around Spell Pierce. Yeah, I guess we can play around Spell Pierce here. Obviously, if they top deck discard, this is really bad. But they usually play, like, Shadow usually plays like 3 Spell Pierce, so I think it makes more sense to play around. It's also like they have to have like Thoughtseize or Croak, so this doesn't get Inquisitioned at least. Would not have minded to have another key. Your key on top would have been nuts if this had resolved. Giganta in hand. Okay. Drew Saga for turn anyways. Could maybe make sense to split these up, but like finding a key off Mystic Forge is like still a big part of our plan, and so like having the mana makes sense to me. Now I can name Engineered Explosives, that's big. Okay, passing back. I think we're pulling the luck counter off the cavern. Like that Ragavan hitting Boseiju here. I think it's not that I think this deck is correct to play the current meta. Yeah, I agree. I think this deck is like powerful, interesting, very bad in the current meta when Hammer Time is like as popular as it's been ever. Is a good deck to play test on Moto Law and take a local RCQ in a few weeks. Surprise metagame call. So the problem with like this as being a surprise metagame call is like Hammer Time is still like a tier 1 deck. There have been like plenty of times post MH2 where Hammer Time is like fallen out of favor, but it is still like very much like, you know, one of the best decks of the format, and so I'm not currently rating it as an excellent RCQ option because of that. I think we'll hold off on the nodes for now. Oh, I could have cored and I didn't. Or my RCQ power rankings? I don't know. I don't usually make that kind of content. Not winning this turn should be fine. They have 6 cards in their hand, though. What's in their hand? What's going on? Sparring Spike EDH guide win. I really like EDH. I played EDH for years. When I was younger, and I was really into the format for a long time. It's been a while since I've been super into it, but I'm trying to get back into it at the moment too. They have Dress Down probably. Yeah, I mean if they Dress Down, they don't get to Ragavan me at least. Let's power up this Chalice, I think. So we have 2. If they have Kolaghan's Command, we'll still have a big mana battery in play. When I grew up, I may just get more interested in other formats. Not really that deep. Getting burned out. The 2 bolts. Combination of Bolt Kroxa. My opponent's dead if they just escape Kroxa, though. I can just make this unblockable. Yeah, this line definitely didn't play around the Kroxa very well, huh? I haven't read Carson's Modern Game Mentor yet. That came out this week. I don't know. I think like, you know, all like the Channel Fireball guys have different opinions and takes on the format. Even if I did have super strong opinions on anything Frank said, I'd be unlikely to really go super into depth about it on the stream, because I think Frank's opinions are as valid as anybody else's, and Frank is like way smarter than me. But I, you know, it is also like definitely true that I play a lot more Modern than Frank does. You know what I mean? Even if the Stirrings finds us a mana battery, this hand's kind of garbage. I'm gonna mulligan. I mean, easy keep. I think this is one of those don't put Caverns into play hands. I mean, what Velika deck is going to have a counter magic? Not really any, but I'll just play this out. Anyways, I guess. How good am I with Witch's Card Remainder? How good are Witch's Card Remainder 4-color Yorion and Murktide matchups? Think of taking RCQ. I think all of those would be totally fine. Like, these kind of questions are tough because it's just like such a complicated thing to ask. Like, can you explain the matchup spread of 3 different Modern decks quickly? You know what I mean? I think all of those would be fine choices. I think all of those are fine. I think that I think 4-color, at least in my local metagame, 4-color Omnath is like insane in my local paper metagame, where my local metagame is like all blue-white control, Jund mid-range, Hammer Time, and Murktide. It's like you know, like in my local RCQs, Jund mid-range is a tier 1 deck. It is so popular, it's crazy. And so I you know, if you're playing in the, like the Dallas Fort Worth area, hard to go wrong with 4-color, I think. So I can play Mystic Forge this turn. I think I'll just play Coretapper instead. Oh, sorry, I should have used the key. I should have at least played the Surge Node though, sorry. I could have played Surge Node counter. Did I play Esper Food at RCQ? I did play Esper. I played Esper Food at DreamHack Dallas, and it was like really weird matchup spread where I got paired against Amulet Titan, which is usually fine, but they were main decking Karn the Great Creator, and I lost. And then I got paired against like a few weird matches. I think I won like the next 3 matches, and then I lost to Merfolk with like tons of like. I played against Merfolk where I was on like multiple sagas in both games, like 1 and 3. Even despite me siding out a saga, I still had like 2 sagas, game 3, and they just had all these spreading seas effects. And then I also like had a game where I like lost to Alpine Moon, and then that was my tournament. It was just like a really weird, really weird tournament. If I'm taking Infant Turns deck, I would recommend Food over this probably at an RCQ, but I also don't think the 2 decks are like particularly comparable either. Like they do both take infinite turns, but that's almost, and they're artifact based, but that's almost where their similarities end. Oh, I was probably supposed to Surge Node my Cornucopia, huh? Karn is really good though. Oh, sorry. I messed this turn up really bad, actually. I messed this turn up really bad. I should have Coretappered already. I was thinking that I had just had enough mana. But I should have Surge Noded. I should have Coretappered. This deck can be just kind of hard to, like, get into autopilot mode. That being said, we're still doing, like, actually really well. Could be doing better. Okay, now we win. Man, this deck is so sweet. So sweet. How is Soul Cornucopia against 4-color? I think I usually like the matchup. Like, you're really in on the Time Warp combo. You have the 3rd Time Warp in the board. It's like somewhat close, but I usually like it a little bit. So I think I'm just bringing in all the Welding Jars. Yeah, I had like thought about Paradox Engine briefly, and I was like, oh, I don't want to main deck it. And then for whatever reason, I just like totally forgot about it as a Karn target. But I did spend like all night playtesting this deck on that first night, but I was never ever. I may actually cut a Scepter. I think I might just want to keep it in all the keys, be as fast as possible. I don't like map as much against Titan either. But I was never coming to the stream on that first day with a perfect build. Okay, definitely a point against Mirrodin's Core. How's this deck defend against Stony Silence? I mean, you have Boseiju, but the reality is almost nobody in Modern plays Stony Silence, so it's just like not that important of a question. I think we have to keep this. We can get a mana battery with the Urza Saga. Like Esper Reanimator plays Stony Silence, and like that's almost the end of the list, you know. And they play it so they're not weak to like artifact-based graveyard hate. The most common Stony Silence effect, though, they're like people do play Karn the Great Creator. And that card's and your plan is to kill them before they get Karn the Great Creator down, and that's really all you can do. Sometimes you can kill Karn with Urza Saga tokens, but just you know, it's not that big a deal. Okay, bounces Boseiju. Big draw step here. But I would love to just find a land to be able to put Coretapper into play. Here we go. If only we had Defense Grid in our deck. If only we had Swan Song in our deck. Is Trump matchup good outside of their 4 Karns? I mean, like, no, because they have 4 Karns, you know what I mean? But yeah, but like you can race them, you know, if they don't have it. I'm chilling. But it's not doing anything. Yeah, it's Boseiju, 3 mystery cards. They can cast Titan if they have it. They definitely have it if they're playing Boseiju. Good enough for me. Tap the Cavern for giant mana. Good enough for me. Okay, on the play for game 3. Oh, I was on the draw that game. I should have left it in the Cavern, sorry. That's it. Okay, no mana battery, you have to mulligan this hand. Also no mana battery. This hand's very close. If it draws one, this hand's really good. We'll have to go to 5, I think. This is the best of the hands we've seen. So it'd be an amazing 7, but I have to put 2 back. And I think those 2 are... Well... Yeah, let me keep this Welding Jar. I'm going to put back these 2. I think you could put back the jar if you wanted to. They just have so much like Boseijus and Force of Vigors that it's just like, you know, kind of unlikely they don't have one of those effects. And this deck does have a lot of. This deck is if we keep the Welding Jar, all we have to do is draw a payoff. You know what I mean? All we have to do is draw a payoff. We have tons of mana and we have protection. And obviously, like, the opposite could work out better for us. Why Cornucopia over Overflowing Chalice? We're playing 4 of each. Shouldn't we have cast the Cornucopia on 1 and moved a counter, and then we could have cast the Tapper on 2? No, you can't. Surge Node costs a mana, so you can't put a counter with Surge Node on Cornucopia on turn 1. Looks like we're getting got. Tough to mull 5 in a matchup like this. Yeah, we're dead if they have Titan, I think. Almost definitely. They'd have to mess up really bad, I think. We bought him Scepter. Yeah, we bought him Scepter. Again, like, the idea was, like, we just have to draw a payoff with, like, the top 3 cards, and then we have protection for a Boseiju or Force of Vigor. Which is fine. 3-2 that lead. Let me start this one. I can't go, like, till 3 today, but...